So we do have these. Now at the moment they don't actually have a value assigned to them. So we need to add an option here that allows us to update the progress bar amount. And I'm just going to set these images to not be variables. And that's just so they don't appear up in this list on the left hand side. Now we do have the progress bar, so that's this one here. So I'm going to do set value. And then from this function we should be able to set the value, set percentage. Yeah, there we go. Set percentage of the progress bar. And then that's kind of a function that we can call on this this child blueprint we've created. Now we kind of have a little bit of a decision to make here, and that's based on the min and max values essentially. Now for the damage, I don't actually know what the upper bounds are for all the weapons, so it's difficult to know specifically what these are. So what I'm going to do is have this be the value as a whole, and then actually divide that using safe divide. Do it this way actually, and then we can have the max value, and we can kind of specify that on a widget basis, and then we'll just plug that into there. So if we jump back to this one, nope, I've not exposed it yet. There we go. Let's try that. So now we do have the max value we can set there. Now for the default, I'm just going to go ahead and set that to 100, because I'd imagine a lot of them will probably be based on 100. But then we can come through and adjust some of these. So the recoil might only be 10. Fire rate might only be, I don't know, 50. Oh, I'm not sure on the specifics there. But that gives us a bit of a starting point. So then we can come in here and we can go to the set value modifier. Lastly, the recoil there. I'm going to store that as a local variable, so as item as weapon. So in terms of the data there, that should start to update. Now we could probably look at actually testing this already. Now what I want to do is on the actual item base, I do want to add an additional variable under the UI section. So we already have the data widget. This probably needs to be renamed to slot data widget. And then I'm going to add another one, data let's call it on data display, and then the base class item data secondary base, and that's going to be a soft class reference as well. Put that into the 2D section. Now this is quite handy because it gives us the option in any of the childs to decide what sort of class this would be. So we can just go into the weapon, the main weapon class, and then under the 2D section actually just specify that we want that weapons. So all the weapons will use that particular weapon stat widget unless it's explicitly overridden. Okay, so now I've got the data display listed there. For the weapon, we kind of need to jump back into the item display widget. So I do currently have just a spacer here. I think what we need to do is actually update that to an overlay, I believe. So let's just start by replacing that with an overlay. We'll make that a variable. We'll call this one secondary data container. Although as I'm thinking about this, that should probably actually be a vertical box, I think. So just replace that. So I'm just thinking if we're adding the production costs and stuff for the craftable items, that's probably going to go in the same list. So I'll do that as a vertical box. Now, in the item data display, we do have the update item display function. So let's start by just handling if the item to display is not valid, so nothing essentially. The second data container, we can just clear all children. Don't need to do anything fancy with that one. I'll just put that on the end. Although, as I'm thinking about it, we probably want to clear it at the very beginning, actually. Yeah, we'll clear it at the very beginning. That way, if we actually need to update it, we've kind of got like a blank canvas to start with. Now, what I'm going to do on the item base, for the data display, I'm actually just going to set that as a blueprint read only. That just means I don't have to create a getter function for it, or set it private, but it does mean that we can still access it but can't change it. So that way, we can get the data display. Yeah, the data display widget, and then we can actually just convert that to a validated get, so we can kind of handle that at the very end here. If it's not valid, we don't need to do anything. If it is, then we can we will need to load it and then push it to the relevant slot. So I'm going to, yes, this is in the item display. I'm going to create custom events. So this is going to be load data widget. For the input, that's going to be the item data secondary base, and we'll do that as the soft class. And we can just go ahead and just call that event directly. So we'll just handle it from here. So then we'll do the async load. And then once the class is loaded, we can do cast to the secondary base class. Do need to make sure that's on the completed and not the just the normal exec pin. Then we want to create the widget. The owner would be the owner of this widget. And then there is the update data, and then we just need to pass in the item. So that should be the item to display. Right, so. And then at that point, everything should be handled from within the widget here. So let's see if we can give that a quick test. So those items are for the old inventory system, so let's use one of these. Doesn't seem to be doing anything at this point. Let's try one of these ones. Okay, so let's add a quick breakpoint there. And we'll see if it jumps to it. Okay, so just jumping to it. Oh, I know what I've done. Well, not done. So we've created the widget here and updated the data, but we've not actually added it to the secondary container. So add child, do vertical box. Always the little things. Test it. I should probably do that. Let me just remove the breakpoint. Pick up these two weapons. There we go. So now I have the damage stats, and it does look like they are updating as well. So when we update, lovely. Now, the next thing we kind of got to do on this one, if we look at the source, we do need to be able to list the weapon. Sorry, not the weapons. The ammo types that can be displayed. So for that, what I'm going to do on this one is I'm actually going to use the named, not the named, one of the custom widgets that we created. Always forgetting the names. The text display. So as a reminder, the text display has the outline at the top, put some text in the middle, but it does have the option as well to disable the background if we don't want it. So we can use that in here. Now we do want to be able to dynamically add them in. So we have the vertical box here, they're all added in. So I'm going to go for a grid panel, a uniform grid panel. Actually, no, it's not that one I want. What I want is the wrap box. So the wrap box, you essentially just add widgets to it, and when it gets to the end, it'll just wrap around onto the next line. So I think that's probably the best option for this one. I'm just going to call that one ammo container. And again, on the top, I'm going to add some padding to that, just so there's some separation. Let's do that as 8 as well. Okay, and then in the update data function, what I'm going to do at this particular point here, I'm just going to add a sequence, just so we can separate some of the lines. So this top line is for the main data, and then the bottom line is going to be for the ammo. So I get supported ammo. Now we can convert that to an array. Like so. Now one of the issues that we're going to have here is that we do need to get the name from them. But with these being a soft references, we can't actually do that. So yeah, so there's nothing like that. We actually have to resolve reference first. This might, in some cases, be not valid. So just going to work through this first, and then because we can just get the defaults or not. Yeah, because that is a display name. There we go. I always forget that the child ones are hidden. So in the class defaults, we can kind of pick ones that we want to be able to see. So what I want to do is create widget. I want to use the text display one. So that is this one. And I am going to actually make the text itself expose on spawn as well, because you can kind of assume that if you're creating a text display dynamically, you're going to want to set the text at a particular point. So we do it here. I do want to update background. Just update the background so it's not showing the background that's just so it more closely matches what we have listed here. And then once we've done that, we can take the ammo container and we can add child. And just like so. Now, if I test this, it should work. But the only reason why is because I actually currently have all the ammo types loaded. Because there's only currently 4 types of ammo, and they're all here. But we can quickly test that, and we'll see if it works. So it doesn't look like there's actually any ammo specified for that one, but for the vector, it's showing that there's one there. Actually, let me quickly test this one as well. And it doesn't look like there's any ammo for that one either. So let me have a quick look. What ammo types for that is 0. So I believe that's these ones. Oh, no, actually, I think it might be the other ones. So the 10mm and the 45 ACPs. That's what it says in the description there. So I'll quickly update those. And let's double check the sniper one as well. I believe the sniper is the other type. So the 50M and the super. They all. And I'm not entirely sure what the ammo type is for the pistol. Because we only have those, but we'll leave that for now. So if we check these ones, so that one showing the 10mm AP. And that's showing the 2 there, so what's happening to the other one? Loaded there. And let me to the weapon. What I'm going to do is actually just add a breakpoint here, just to see what's actually being shown. There seems to be an issue with these ones. Okay, that one does actually have 2 in it, and that is showing 2. So is it just an issue with this particular one? It is, okay. So it looks like that particular weapon is overridden. So let me double check that one. Yes, it looks like it's overridden that, so let's back that to the base one. There we go. And we can disable that breakpoint again. Okay, yeah, so it is showing the options there. So I wonder if there's a way to add a bit of spacing between them. Internal slot padding. I'm not sure if that's between each element or not. But I guess what we can do is do a little test. Yeah, it's probably going to flicker about because we don't actually know the space it's supposed to take up. But let's see if we add 2. Okay, yes, that is adding the padding there. So if we go back to the original, there is quite a lot of padding in between them. Probably set that to Centered maybe. Fill. Let's go for explicit wrap size for now. It's really annoying me. 256. Probably. Okay. Right, so I'll get some weirdness there. Have some extra padding here as well. So also we get a bit of padding at the end and at the start. To fill. How can we handle this? So it would be nice if they were just perfectly lined up. So that's vertical. That's horizontal. If we have no padding, we definitely need some padding on that. Yeah, I kind of wish there was a few more options on here. Doesn't look like I can necessarily do what I'm trying to do easily. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to set that to 0. And I wonder if something we can do in here. If I was to pop that in an overlay, visibly it should look the same, but it does give me then the option to add some padding manually to the sides. Now that will affect all the others. So let's add a config for the padding there. So on the section here, this is on the pre-construct, we will get the vertical box and then we'll set the padding. Is that what we need to do? Yes, I need to get the slot as overlay. And then we get the set padding. And then we can promote that to a variable, so we'll go inner padding. And the default, I'll just leave it 0. Yep. So that should now have fixed everything else. Yes, that's all lined up correctly. The last thing I want to do is actually just drop this into a function. Update inner padding. That way it gives me a function that I can call in a second. So these ones won't actually function how I would like. Because I do need to spawn them dynamically, so that's what I'm going to do now. So we do spawn them there, but we're going to call the update inner padding. And I'm going to set that manually. So we'll go for 8 and 8 on there. Now if we have a quick check, I need to remove the explicit wrap size because that's not going to do what we want. So if we check it, so we can start to see that's working a little bit better now. Still not ideal though. Let's see what else we can do. So let's keep that to centered instead of fill. That's probably going to give us a better result. There we go. That's looking better already. And lastly, I am just going to just add a text display just above the ammo container. And do it as a fill. Auto fill. I'm not sure why that's not actually filling. So just change that to supported ammo. Just so it's a bit clearer what's what. And again, I'll just use the colour there for the text. So add some padding at the top. So we'll do 16 just so there's a bit of extra separation. Yeah, it looks a little bit weird like that. So I'm going to make that left justified and see if that looks a little bit better. It does look better. I'm actually going to remove the left justification on that, so that way we can keep it snug to the left. It should look a bit closer, but if it does wrap, it should still be nice and snug this side here. Now, we may have a slight issue where the sizes might vary, so it would be nice to actually have them where it only displays so many. I think for now, though, that's probably going to be good enough. Let's just increase the distance between them a little bit. More texture with a different one. Yeah, so it's going to be slightly different sizes there, but it should be okay. So that's kind of how we're looking. So what's this a little bit different to the source there, but hopefully it should be a little bit clear as to what's what. Now I'm wondering. Yeah, it's not actually filling across the top anymore. So that's probably because that needs to be set to fill. Yeah, there we go. Oh, it's quite loud.